Have you ever felt like your life is a series of unfinished sentences? You start with passion, with fire in your chest. You write the first line, you take the first step, you feel the spark. And then, somewhere along the way, it fades. The fire cools. The project dies. Again, it's like clockwork. You buy the books. You sign up for the course. You hit the gym for the first week. You journal, you meditate, you plan. But then, life happens. Distractions flood in. Doubts creep in. And the next thing you know, the thing you were once excited about becomes just another dusty file in your mental archives. You begin, but you never finish. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? Why can't I finish what I start? Let me tell you something you may not hear enough. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not doomed to be a quitter. You're just stuck in a loop, a deeply human one. But the beautiful truth is, you can break it. You can rewrite the pattern. Because the ability to finish, it's not about willpower. It's not about being more disciplined. It's about understanding the battlefield inside you, the hidden forces that sabotage your momentum, the mental traps that steal your focus, and the subtle fear of what finishing really means. Let's go there. Together. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to remember the last thing you gave up on. Maybe it was a business, a book, a relationship, a change in lifestyle, a dream you whispered to yourself late at night when no one else was listening. Do you feel it? That ache in your chest? That heaviness in your gut? It's not guilt. It's grief. You're grieving a version of yourself you never got to become. But what if that version is still waiting for you? What if you could break the cycle this time for real? Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who carried notebooks with him everywhere he went. Ideas filled every page. Businesses, books, systems, concepts. Every time he was struck with inspiration, he'd sprint to write it down. His mind was a garden of brilliance, but his life, a graveyard of abandoned projects. One night, after another, great idea fizzled out. He sat alone and asked himself the question that would change everything. What am I really afraid of? That question dug into his soul. And what he found wasn't laziness, it was fear. Fear of success. Fear of being seen. Fear of committing. Fear that if he gave something his all and failed, it would mean he was a failure. That man was me. For years, I lived in that cycle. Start, spark, stall, stop. Over and over again. And then I finally learned the truth. Finishing doesn't begin with strategy. It begins with identity. You don't finish because you haven't become the kind of person who does. So today, I want to take you on a journey of transformation from someone who constantly quits to someone who follows through no matter what. I want to hand you the tools, the mindset, and the fire to finally break through the wall you keep hitting. Not with hacks, but with truth. Because here's the first truth. Unfinished work is not a time problem. It's a fear problem, a clarity problem, a story problem. You don't need more hours in the day. You need a new story in your head. Let's dive deep into that. We all carry old stories. Stories that whisper, you never finish anything. You're just not the type. You'll mess it up anyway. Those stories were not written by you. They were written by experiences, by teachers, by moments of pain, and you've been acting them out like a script. But you can rip that script apart. You can write a new one that begins with, I'm someone who finishes. Say it out loud. I am someone who finishes. It may feel foreign now, but let it echo. Now, let's break down the root causes of why we don't finish. Not the shallow ones, the real ones. First, the all or nothing mindset. We start with intensity. We think if it's not perfect, it's pointless. If we can't do it all now, we shouldn't start at all. So we burn out. We collapse under our own pressure. But real progress isn't made in intense bursts. It's made in consistent drips. Water doesn't carve canyons through explosive force. It does it through persistence. Second, the myth of motivation. We wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect wave of energy. But motivation is not the engine. It's the passenger. The engine is action. Tiny, repeatable action. Third, fear of completion. Yes, fear of finishing. Because finishing means facing judgment. It means letting the world see what you've created. It means letting go of the fantasy of perfection and risking the reality of imperfection. Fourth, lack of emotional clarity. You start with what you should do, what your soul actually craves. So halfway through, your heart checks out, and your body follows. And finally, no time, boundaries. When you give yourself infinite time to complete something, it takes infinite time. That's why we procrastinate. That's why we lose momentum, because there's no urgency, no frame. But that changes today. Here's the new game plan. 5 principles. 5 shifts. 1. Time box everything. Stop saying I'll do it someday. Pick a time. Box it in. Give your project a deadline, even if it's a fake one. Even if it's just a sprint. Create a start. Create an end. Urgency births clarity. Time boxes create freedom. Ironically, the tighter the box, the more space your mind has to focus. 2. Break the identity loop. Start speaking differently. Not, I hope I'll finish this, but I finish what I start. Even if it's not true yet, your brain doesn't care if it's real. It just follows repetition. Become a finisher in language first, and your actions will chase it. 3. Kill perfectionism. Let it be ugly. Let it be messy. Let it be imperfect. Because done is always better than perfect. No one's inspired by the project you almost released. 4. Set micro commitments. Instead of write a book, say 200 words today. Instead of get in shape, say move for 10 minutes. The mountain is moved one pebble at a time. Don't climb it. Chip away. 5. Anchor to emotion. Every project needs an emotional why, not just a logical one. You won't show up for logic. You'll show up for something that moves your soul, something that reminds you of who you're becoming. You see, what finishes a project isn't planning, it's pain and purpose. A reason that keeps your heart in the game when your brain wants to quit. Let me give you a quote to burn into your mind. Discipline is remembering what you want. David Campbell. And let me add to that, finishing is an act of self-respect. When you finish, you honor your own voice. You say, what I start matters. I matter. Can I tell you what changed my life? I stopped trying to become more productive. I started becoming more honest. I admitted when I was scared. I admitted when I was tired. I admitted when I was chasing goals that weren't mine. And then, I built a new rhythm. One project. One time block. One truth at a time. You don't have to do everything. Just the next thing. And finish it. Because here's the final truth. Your unfinished dreams become your emotional clutter. Every time you start and stop, you send a message to yourself. You're not trustworthy. But every time you finish, no matter how small, you reclaim that trust. You show your inner child, your future self, and the world. I do what I say I'll do. So what now? Now, you choose. You choose to finish the book, the business, the blog, the body transformation, the lifestyle shift, the life you promised yourself. Not because it's easy, but because you're done breaking promises to yourself. You've played small long enough. This is your moment. This is your clean slate. And when the voice of doubt returns, and it will, I want you to remember this. You are not your past attempts. You are your next decision. Make it count. Now finish.